I am Will Sutton, and I am grateful and I am blessed that the Lord decided to bless me with another day. Woke me up, planted my feet on the floor, got me moving, even did a couple of household chores, including sweeping, right before coming over to join you, our WBOK family of listeners. Look, we got a good show for you today. Of course, it is Thursday, so you know what that means. We're going to be talking to Congressman Troy Carter in just a bit. So we're going to have our weekly conversation with Congressman Troy Carter. And of course, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And we just observed, certainly didn't celebrate. We had the 1 year anniversary of the first year of the Donald Trump presidency. So we're going to ask the congressman to take a look at that first year and see what his thoughts are and how we should look back at 1 year with the Donald, as president of these United States. Heck of a year. So many things have happened. Was there anything good? Anything? And what are some of the major highlights or lowlights? We're going to get a perspective on that from our Congressman Troy Carter on today's show. So stay tuned. We're also going to be hearing from him about the RAISE Act and kind of the purpose of it, the rationale, taking a look at what problem it is designed to address. There's a connection to youth suicide prevention and other things, and to take a look at that in the context of what schools have done and can do, and disparities in mental health among students of different backgrounds. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that from our congressman, and who knows, maybe he has something else that is on his mind. We also going to be talking to a surprise guest. So we're going to see if any of you can guess along the way. But this person has had an incredible career, quite diverse career. And I'm going to tell you that if you start digging around, person is not from New Orleans, from somewhere else. And this person has, let's say, born and raised initially in the Washington, D.C. area and became an attorney. But there's more to that story. And we'll be granting you bits and pieces along the way. And we're going to expect to have that person on the show today. So a lot of things going on in the news, and you want to know more and more about what is happening. But first, remind you that it is Thursday, and of course, the kiddos are going to school. It's 7:07 a.m. You've got to be somewhere at 7:10 or 7:15. I hope you're close or you're making your way there. And please drive safely. It's the other drivers who are crazy, of course. It's not you. Just make sure you are not doing the things the other crazy folks are doing while driving. And that includes speeding in a school speed zone area. Speed limit is 20, folks. We got to make sure that those kiddos get on to school and have a good day, get some knowledge in their head, and they will be on their merry way to becoming good citizens of New Orleans, Louisiana, and these United States. Before we go to break, I do want to bring your attention to the Louisiana Department of Health and more of how a shifted administrations makes a difference. So they are winding down the contract that the state has had with United Healthcare. And that means about 330,000 Medicaid recipients. So if you're on Medicaid, mama's on Medicaid, brother's on Medicaid, you want to hear this. About 330,000 Medicaid recipients will have to switch insurance plans by the end of March. So it's mid-February now. It's kind of in the second half of January, And then we got March, and we're going to be busy with Carnival. But folks who are in that number, we're going to have to switch insurance plan. And this is all based on a legal dispute that Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill has had with United Health Care about drug prescription pricing. And a re-enrollment period is underway already. And so you're going to have to watch out for that. So dig into that, particularly if you're on Medicaid, know somebody on Medicaid, or you just want to learn more about that. Check that out. And for those of you all who are in different parts of Louisiana, and those of our listeners who are elsewhere in this nation, watch out for winter storm watches. So those of you who are driving elsewhere, those of you who are flying wherever you're going, business, pleasure, family, or otherwise, watch out, because there are major, potentially catastrophic winter storms moving across the United States, particularly the southern United States. And there are winter storm watches in effect for some parts of Louisiana. And there's a possibility of freezing rain and ice possibly for today and going into the weekend. I know a number of people who have already changed flights because of weather conditions in Texas, in Louisiana, Georgia, and so they're having to make those plans. But that means other people are doing the same thing. So the sooner you get to it, the better for you to get on another plane on another day, or earlier on the day that you're scheduled. So take a look at that and get moving on that. Time to go to break at 7:11 a.m. Watch out for those kiddos, and give us a call at 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422 is the WBOK talk line. One more time, 504-582-9422. Don't forget, Congressman Troy Carter will be coming up. You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. New Orleans police are looking for leads after a shooting that injured a man. This happened on Chateau Court in New Orleans East around 1 a.m. We're told the victim was taken to a local hospital. There is no word on his condition or any possible suspect information at this time. Then a New Orleans teacher is facing child pornography charges, and get this, he was booked on new charges while still in custody. The Attorney General's office says Benoit Cransac was rearrested on 3 new counts of child sexual abuse material. The former French teacher and coach at Isidore Newman School was originally arrested 2 weeks ago and taken into custody at the school. We're told those allegations do not involve current or former Newman students. And happening today, a hearing will take place between the Archdiocese of New Orleans and sex abuse survivors. This comes after a $230 million settlement was agreed to, impacting hundreds of abuse survivors and ending the years-long Archdiocese bankruptcy case. In addition to today's hearing, Archbishop Gregory Amen announced group meetings will be held for anyone who may have experienced sexual abuse in the church. Those meetings will begin in February. And that's a look at today's headlines. I'm Morgan Lentis with WBOK News.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. For those of you who have been tuned and up and about, maybe not fully alert, but hopefully we're helping you rise and shine and see what good you can do on this day that God has blessed us with. I am Will Sutton, and welcome to the Good Morning Show for those of you who are just tuning in, whether it is on AM radio at 1230, WBOK, 1230 AM, or the internet from wherever you are, New Orleans or Jeff Parish, St. Bernard, Plaquemine, St. Tammany, or maybe you're in northern Louisiana, central Louisiana, Baton Rouge, because you can't hear it on AM over there does not mean you can't tune in each and every day. So we've got the internet. It's on YouTube, and it's on the WBOK 1230 AM website as well. You can get to the live stream. And, of course, we always love to know that part of our WBOK family of listeners also can see us on Facebook Live. Hey, y'all. How you doing? It's me in here, and you can't see at the moment, but on the other side of the glass is Jared, our new producer, fully not even 2 weeks old yet, but he's a grown man and doing the do. He's been around taking care of some of the things that go with putting on radio shows and keeping the station running. So shout out to Jared. For those of you all who want to leave something in the chat, give him a good morning, a hello as well. And more of what's going on before we hear from Congressman Carter. Those of you all who are interested in the more of the details of what's going on with Carnival season and Mardi Gras, the Mayor's Mardi Gras Advisory Council meeting is scheduled for 5 p.m. today at Gallia Hall in New Orleans as the city continues to prepare for the 2026 season. Of course, it's a different kind of meeting, so just because you show up doesn't mean you get to have a lot of talk and say about what's going on and not going on. But the city has specific individuals from the different crews and organizations associated with Carnival and Mardi Gras, and they'll be talking about any route changes or any adjustments, start times, end times, talk about safety, policing, all those things that go on to have a good, successful, and fun Carnival season and Mardi Gras in the city of New Orleans, as other communities also prepare. Look, we had a really horrible thing happen over in the Treme, and unfortunately, a man was shot and killed in the 1500 block of Governor Nichols Street, right about 6:30 a.m. Tuesday. So it's Thursday, so there hadn't been much information other than a report of a man down, a shooting, and then a death. But we now know that the man is Alvin Garibald, and he had worked as assistant principal at Selman High School in Slidell. Brother has been there as assistant principal after serving in education elsewhere, and he had been previously at Bonneville High School, also in Jefferson Parish. Very sad case. The police have been investigating this. 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday, they found the victim on the ground suffering from a gunshot wound. The circumstances are not being shared at this time as they continue to search for more information and lead to a suspect, and then identification of suspect, and more action from there. So if you think you can help, call Crime Stoppers or call the New Orleans Police Department and see if the guy's life can be closed in a way that includes determination of what happened and whatever justice needs to happen as a result of that. Want to congratulate the New Orleans Police Department for quickly arresting somebody in connection with the 9 vehicles that were burned in the Bywater just the other day. The man was accused of setting 9 cars on fire on Monday, and that was announced on Wednesday, yesterday, by the mayor, that a man has been arrested. So that man is Kyle Thompson, Thomsen, a 35-year-old Bywater resident. So the cars were burned in the Bywater neighborhood where he lives. And he was booked late Tuesday on 4 counts of aggravated assault of an inhabited dwelling, 9 counts of simple assault. And he was caught on crime cameras, plural, in the neighborhood. And then he was arrested within 48 hours of those fires, multiple fires. So good police work leading to that arrest. And we'll see what develops from there. And this is a case where it's New Orleans Police Department and the New Orleans Fire Department, because it was a series of fires which were determined to be arson fires, and that was over in Madigat, Dauphine, and Desire Streets area in the Bywater. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to our Congressman, Troy Carter, because it's Thursday at WBOK Good Morning Show. It's Congressman Troy Carter Day. So as we go to break, I just want to remind you that if you got to be somewhere at 7:30, you got about 9 minutes now to get there safely. Drive slowly. Watch out for the kiddos. They're on their way to school. And shout out to all the assistant principals on transportation duty today. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. I'll tell you right now, we're going to take a little time with the congressman because there's so much to dive into with the 1-year anniversary, and we do want to get the RAISE Act. But he, as he always does, he will take some calls. But go ahead and call in, get in line, 504-582-9422. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
To a darkened, sinful world comes redemption. Oh, what a gift of salvation. When Jesus returns, will he find faithers on earth? For the answer to this mind-boggling question, tune into FIJTC, Faithers in the Jesus Christ, every Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. on WBOK. Follow us on Facebook at FIJTC Write-Ups and on Instagram at FIJTC 420s.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com. What if just $50 could open the door to your new home? Godan's is inviting you to enter their Key to Your Heart house raffle, where one ticket gives you a chance to win a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in the city of New Orleans. The drawing will happen on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Tickets must be purchased by February 12th at 11:59 p.m. Enter now at Raise, RAYZE.it/key to your heart.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It is 7:24 a.m. Watch out for our babies in those speed zones. It's 20 miles per hour, not 23, 26. It's certainly not 31 or 40. So be careful out there as you're on your way to the office, to the doctor's appointment, whatever you got going. Look, we're going to jump into conversation with our Congressman Troy Carter. And good morning, Congressman Carter. How are you?
Good morning, Will. How are you this morning?
Fabulous. You're on with Will Sutton and nobody else.
Oh, you got it, brother. You can handle it.
I got it. You know, I got Jared behind the glass, so I'm good. So look, let's jump into it. 1 year anniversary of the presidency of Donald Trump. There is the second term of Donald Trump, but not consecutive terms because, of course, we had President Joe Biden. And anything that people might have thought about Donald Trump, what that might look like in his previous term, turned out to be not what they thought and worse. But now the second term is here, and in 1 year, oh my. Take us through it, Congressman.
Well, it's been, as you mentioned, it's been 1 year. Hard to believe that it's only been a year with so much devastation and pain that's happened over this 1 year. Here's a president who said on day one he was going to bring the price of groceries down. On day one, he was going to have the war in Ukraine ended. On day one, he was going to restore the confidence of the American people as he claimed it was not. He's done none of those things. In fact, he's done just the opposite. The price of eggs, the price of rice, the price of goods have increased. The unrest in America and abroad is at an all-time high. Our stocks in the stock market and stock in the world place has been desperately decreased because of this man's behavior, because of his dictator style, his disrespect, and gross disrespect for the Constitution and the rule of law. So at home and abroad, we've watched the value of the American currency, and I don't mean dollar, but just our general currency, decrease. The life in Louisiana has gotten worse. Prices continue to rise on everything from groceries to housing, health care, harder to access affordable health care it needs. This president is focused on a regime change, waging war with foreign entities, going into sovereign nations. Listen, take care at home. We passed under this president's leadership, and we fought vigorously against it. They passed this big, ugly law that threatens to take millions of people off of the rolls of Medicaid. Listen, you have not seen this degree of ball wrecking, if you will. This has been American demolition derby under this president, tearing down Robert RFK Jr., the Secretary of Health, denying COVID, denying vaccinations, having an uptick on measles, watching people who had enjoyed under the Biden administration in the river parishes literally millions and millions of dollars for environmental justice so we could push back against polluters, having those dollars stripped away. Watching the resources for BEAD, where we were going to have broadband throughout the entire state of Louisiana and the country. Louisiana was very first to have shovels in the ground, to have this administration halt that progress and stop it midstream so they can replace it with a subpar product to benefit his buddy, uh, Elon Musk. And now the people of Louisiana are not only behind in progress, but when it does pick up again, it's going to be a cheaper, less effective product. It will not be the fiber that it once was. It's going to be some Starlink derivative that doesn't quite go as far, last as long, or have as much power. That's not progress. That's not progress. We see ICE agents parading through our streets like the Gestapo. I had the Secretary Noem before my committee now asked her the question, when you bring these $50,000 a year bandits who have no training into our community, give them a gun and a badge, how do you train them on what they're looking for? Tell me, what does an immigrant look like?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't answer the question. So you look at this and you say, all this has happened in 1 year? And let me tell you why. Because they were practicing and preparing for Project 2025 long before this year. Why were they able to immediately start to kick this stuff into gear? Because they were preparing. We went all over the country. I went all over the state trying to educate people on Project 2025 and telling them the dangers of what it would mean if it passed, if this president was elected. And yet people still didn't turn out to vote. We've got to learn from this lesson. In these upcoming midterms, we've got to vote. We've got to vote with records so we can continue to fight and reverse these actions of 2025, that we can reverse or at least stop the bleeding of what's happened in this first year. Yes, it's only been a year, but it's been a year of pain and suffering and the reversal of rights for Americans, the challenge of our checks and balances. This president boasts that he is both the president and the Speaker of the House. This president boasts that he controls the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. The framers of the Constitution are rolling over in their graves because while they were very smart and wise, they did not contemplate Donald Trump. They didn't contemplate someone that would have such a cultish power over MAGA Republicans that they would sit back idly by and do the unthinkable. Let this president take 250 years of American power and have us laughed at by our foreign leaders, have us literally laughed at by our NATO partners, all in 1 year. And we've got a lot of work to do.
Well, it's been 1 year, and whoever might have been talking sense into the president's head a bit from the first administration, they don't seem to be around in this 1 year of the new administration. And it seems that the people that he's looking at, as bad as some of these things are, they're egging him on to do even worse things.
Well, because they realize they got the perfect storm. Will, they've got the perfect storm. They've had these horrible plans. This is not something that came up in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. This has been baking for many, many years. They just waited for the right idiot who would allow them to do it. These zealots who are in the background, the minions, as I call them, are the evil geniuses behind the curtain. They just needed a president that would be complicit enough to activate the whole plan. You've had some presidents who've done pieces and the little touches of, but this president has given them unbridled authority to get on the wrecking ball to the American democracy. And while many people, even they realize that this president is unstable, but it's just what they need. They need a president that they can compliment and tell him fine things about himself and make him feel good, because he's easily led by compliments and ego juice, that once they've done that, they've stroked his ego, then they give him the poison pen to sign these horrible executive orders, or they take his finger and press it on on the button to drop a bomb on Venezuelan ships or anywhere else for that matter. What's next? And so the danger of Project 2025 and the danger of this president is he's easily led by the evil people behind the curtain.
Yeah, and one of the things, of course, you were very strong and out front leading into the president election vote on air nationally, locally, even holding forums to bring to people's attention what Project 2025 was all about. And I particularly appreciated going to one of your sessions at Southern University of New Orleans. And some of the folks had the entire Project 2025, I think it was like 900 pages or something. And all he had to do is flip to almost any page at that time. It's like, if this man gets in, this is what's going to happen. And as much as I want to think that people care about the democracy and care about the types of things that are in Project 2025, I think they saw it as a wish list and not something that would be implemented. But some of the things from that day that I spent with you and your team and some of the others have come to fruition in the first year.
Yes. And again, I amplify. This didn't happen overnight. They had the jets ready to go. The engines were already hot. They were ready to roll. And as soon as this man put his right hand up, they were ready to activate. And in many ways, they were starting to prep the beginnings of Project 2025 in state legislatures across the country, testing some of the ideals of Project 2025. And just as we talk to people about Project 2025 and the dangers of what happened, we are now talking about the dangers of what can happen with a revisitation of Reconstruction. And I know when we talked about Project 2025, people thought, oh, that's so far off. He could never do that. That could never happen, not in America. Well, here we are, demonstrating that, yes, here in America, it can happen. And that's why we cannot take anything for granted. We cannot believe that anything is so far-fetched or so far off the pale that it can't happen. These people are evil. And history ignored is history destined to be repeated. So we have to be vigilant. We have to band together. We have to stick together. We have to be invested. We have to be engaged. And we have to be prepared. And the only way to do that is to exercise our right to vote, stay adroit of what happens, listen to WBOK where you have the opportunity to get unbridled access to the facts, not filtered, not edited, not told through somebody else's premise for somebody else's purposes. Listen, the local minority African American owned media is as close a friend that we can ever have as an outlet. And we've got to support our AM radio stations. We've got to support our small publications, our newspapers, our newsletters. It is critically important that at a time that we see filtered press, where Brendan Carr, who is the FCC chair, who sat before my committee last week and says that this agency is no longer independent, that he responds to the president. No, man, the FCC is supposed to be independent. It's supposed to not be subject to the whims of any politician or any elected official or any government agency, but to fairness and regulation. So when we know that Jimmy Kimmel could be thrown off the line because he told a joke about the president, you better start listening to WBOK. You better start reading the Tribune. You better start reading Louisiana Weekly. You better start going to Data News. You better take advantage of the opportunity to outlets who are not subject to or afraid of these clowns who will try to take away your First Amendment rights.
Yeah, speaking of Project 2025, I'm going to mention some things that I if my recollection serves me well on this morning. Some of those things that are in there that have happened through a lot of executive orders and the president taking action in areas that the president isn't even responsible for. And so, one of those things, of course, has been the long time, decades old desire of the Republican Party to get rid of the education department overall, but very specifically the department's Office for Civil Rights, where they were really honing in on civil rights in education across the country. And it seems to me that that's something that, with that being taken away, that there are probably not many states that are going to make that an important part of educating our youth. And he's also banned uh, public schools from teaching systemic racism and bias. And it's like, how far is the man going to reach? And we're certainly seeing some impacts of that kind of thing here in Louisiana.
If left to his devices, he will reverse and act as if slavery was voluntary. The clown in Florida, DeSantis, said that slavery wasn't so bad, that it was a jobs program. It taught slaves skills. Man, give me a break. A lie told long enough, unchecked, becomes true. If we allow him to raid the African American Museum of Artifacts, if we allow them to take history about slavery and the atrocities and the hate fill of slavery, 100 years from now, people won't know about it anymore. It's not as difficult as you think, and that's why we have to remain vigilant. If we are complacent, if we believe, Reconstruction can never happen again, you watch it happen. If you think the massacres that took place in Black Wall Street could never happen again, you watch. They're plotting and planning. Who would have ever thought that there would be an angry mob of people that would attack the nation's capital, threaten to kill the Vice President of the United States of America, defecate on the desk of the Speaker of the House? Who would have ever thought that could happen? You would think that was some B-rate movie. No, it happened right here. It happened right here in America. And then to add insult to injury, the president, who arguably was the one who organized this angry mob of villains and thugs, then his first act of office when he is reelected, he pardons every one of them. And no outrage from my Republican counterparts. Listen, this is not about Republican or Democrat. This is about America. What about patriotism that you profess to care so much about? What about being so angry when football players took a knee during the national anthem in opposition to police brutality against Black men? What about the anger that you displayed when Olympiads put their fists to the air because in protest against racism? Where's that outrage now? Where's that outrage when this guy says he doesn't care about your rights? Where's that outrage?
Right.
So you cannot hide behind a party and say, I'm a Republican there, he's a Republican president, he can do whatever he wants. No. Because I will tell you, Democrats would not support this kind of action if a Democratic president was doing this, because we're bigger than that. We're smarter than that. We're grounded in integrity and faith. And although this country has not always been kind to us, we have always been loyal to this country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this country owes us a debt of gratitude, not a president that wants to take our rights away. And we're not going to sit back idly by and be afraid to speak out about the atrocities of this administration and the Project 2025, and rather it's on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. I say it every single day, and I will continue to fight with every breath in my being because he's wrong, and we all need to be watching to say this is our civil rights movement, our civil rights moment. And the question is going to ask, where were you in 2025 when Project 2025 was taking away our rights? Let us all be on the right side of saying we were
Right,
organized.
right.
We're fighting against it.
Well, there are some protests and demonstrations in the last days and weeks, primarily focused on ICE. Do you see that as a part of the type of thing that you're talking about, or you want to see something different?
Well, to protest to Democratic members' offices is kind of counterproductive, right? I mean, we're fighting with you. And I understand the symbolism of going to every congressman's office. Like just the other day, there was a nationwide go to your congressman's office day.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, but we aren't the ones.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the ones. Let's not waste our energy. Let's go to the ones who are every day voting against us. But let's do it peacefully. And I want to underscore, because we would never promote any type of violence. We're not going to mimic what this president did at the nation's capital. We want people to peacefully protest. We want them to do it in a respectful, lawful, law-abiding way. We want to get our messages across, and we want to demonstrate that we're watching. So, but it's got to be more than just ICE. ICE is critically important. But as you mentioned, public education, taking away. Last week there was a threat, and we jumped real quickly and were able to reverse it. But there was an effort to take back $2 billion in SAMHSA funds that are available for people with substance abuse and mental illness. This is going to impact many of our nonprofit agencies that do incredible work in the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. But because we were able to put together a bipartisan group of 100 members, got on the telephone, wrote letters, we were able to reverse that and to restore those funds. We need people to be aware of those kind of things. There's a lot of moving parts that go on in Washington. There's a lot of things that fill my 24-hour day that many times is putting fingers in the dike to stop the bleeding, or fighting to restore funds from this before it's cut, or to get it back after it's been cut. Working with a whole host of churches and nonprofits, even as we speak, with FEMA dollars that they've gotten that's now been held up on projects that they've already begun working on from appropriations. People have to use these opportunities to be adroit of what's happening in our federal level, our local level, and our state level. The more we're involved, the better government works for us. So when we talk about coming together and marching or organizing, letter writing campaigns, use the social media to call them out on these crazy measures that they have. This president, under his second term, has yet broken his own record from his first term with the longest government shutdown that caused pain and havoc to federal workers and to agencies and the people that depend on them. So we have to not just look at the issue du jour. Right now, ICE is hot, but Pell Grants going away, limiting the amount of money that people can borrow to get higher education, the demise of certain educational destinations as considered official or professional jobs, like going after nursing programs. We know we have a nursing shortage all over the country, but you want to now say that that's not a professional distinction. You know, these are all chip-aways. Yeah, the big block things are going to get our attention, but the chip-aways are just as dangerous. Those ankle biters that go after the very core of how we build a middle class. We can get through, in most cases, undergraduate school. The greater problem for us to be able to borrow money is to be able to pay for law school or medical school or professional schools. And this president wants to limit the lifetime debt amount that you can borrow. Well, what that does is that says that Johnny, who wants to go to medical school, probably won't get that chance because even though he mastered it in undergraduate school, there's only so many grants and loans that are available. Grants and scholarships that are available out there, and federal loans are critical to help minorities matriculate through medical school or law school. This president has reduced that. See, there's a lot of things that's going on that's chipping away at the core of what allows America to be America. This president has fought us on the expansion of ACA tax credits. ACA tax credits that provide for the middle class, the people that go to work every single day. They make just a little bit too much to access Medicaid, but not nearly enough to be able to pay for the exorbitant health care costs. The ACA tax credits, why do they hate it? Because Obama passed it. It's not because it isn't good for the American people. It's because they are so jealous and envious of the efforts of Barack Obama that they spend every day trying to peel back the good that he's done, even though Republicans enjoy this benefit just as much, if not more, in the way of small business owners as African Americans and Democrats do. They are willing to cut their nose off to spite their face. So when we think about the issues that we should be paying attention to, ICE is certainly an issue of importance. But the totality of what we're dealing with is so much deeper, so many more prongs to this evil plan to roll the clock back, to take away educational opportunities, to remove the ability for us to stay healthy, to take away economic opportunities. It is a weird twist of the popular movie, The Hunger Games.
I got
where
you.
only the strongest survive.
Yeah. Hey, Congressman, we're going to have to take a break, but when we come back, I want to make sure we talk with you about the Raising Awareness for Youth Suicide Prevention Act, something that you and some others just made a move on, and very important topic, and definitely want to update our WBOK family of listeners on that. So hold on, and we'll get to that right after the break. The talk line, folks, is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hey, this is Steve Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026. The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Comparing the cost of will, successions, and trusts.
A will might only be a few $100s, but your family could end up paying more in legal fees.
Trust costs more upfront, but saves time, stress, and potentially thousands.
Think of it as paying a little now to avoid a big bill later. Smart planning means big savings for your family. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK. 12:30 a.m. It's 7:55. You got somewhere to be at 8. You got 5 minutes. Go slow, but make sure you are safe and watch out for the kiddos. We're in conversation with Congressman Troy Carter, our congressman, and we are going to be talking about the RAISE Act. So, Congressman, I'm going to let you tell our WBOK family of listeners what the RAISE Act is, what does RAISE stand for, and what are you trying to do?
Well, thank you, Will. It's something I'm very proud of and very excited to share. The RAISE Act, R-A-Y-S, Raising Awareness for Youth Suicide Prevention Act. It's a bipartisan bill that requires, it's very simple, requires middle and high schools to include mental health and suicide prevention information on student identification cards and on school websites. This is a bipartisan bill. I'm proud to have announced to have had joined me in co-authoring this bill to demonstrate the importance of access to mental health resources. The RAISE Act lets people know about the fully funded 988 hotline that we passed into law, was signed into law, and is fully funded. What the 988 suicide hotline essentially is a line that you can call 24/7, 365 days a year, and someone, a live person, will answer the phone and will listen to you, will talk to you, will share resources with you, will be there with you during that darkest hour, that dangerous time when you might be contemplating suicide or hurting yourself or hurting others. This is an opportunity of recognition that mental health is a real problem in our country. And we've seen an uptick of teen suicides. We see suicides increase annually during the holidays, but we now see suicides ticking up all the time, year-round. We saw a particularly high spike after COVID. When our children were isolated, they were left to nothing but social media and smartphones. And so what the RAISE Act does is it gives a constant reminder on your school ID, on your student website, is the hotline phone number, is the website that you can go and visit to gain access to information, to demonstrate that as bad as it seems, there are people here that can help you. Taking your life is not an option. We're here to serve you. We're here to provide resources to our young people. And 988, to be very clear, is for anyone. I'd encourage any of our listening audience that if you're having anxieties, depression, thoughts of suicide, use our 988 hotline, like 911, but 988, dial it. No one will track you. No one will ask your name, where you live. No one will pop up and visit uninvited unless you want someone to help you and you want to give your name. No one will ask. It's totally confidential, totally free of charge, and available 24/7. And this push with the RAISE Act is to amplify the offerings of 988 and to let people know, our young people particularly, as a constant reminder, this law mandates that all schools shall have this available on student IDs, so it's readily available at any time that they may need it.
Wonderful. What a great idea. And I can't imagine people opposing this with the possible
And I'm hopeful that that's the case.
With the
And I
possible
designed
exception of
it-
saying we can't afford to do that.
Well, we can afford to put $170 billion into ICE to go and raid American citizens. We can afford to bomb ships that were in somebody else's territory. We can afford to try to buy or steal Greenland. Yeah, we can afford to take care of the American people. Yeah, we can afford to take care of health care for the people that are in our country. Yeah, we can afford to make sure that we're providing resources to our young people who desperately need us. This president just got to get his priorities straight. And with every fiber of our being, we're going to keep pushing him to get his priorities straight.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Congressman Carter. Always a pleasure to have you join us here on the Good Morning Show each and every Thursday. Hope to see you sometime during the Carnival and Mardi Gras season. I know you'll be home for some of that, but I also realize there's the Washington Mardi Gras.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of moving parts, but I'll be in between it all. I'm definitely gonna come home for Mardi Gras. It looks like this year we will not be working on Mardi Gras. Last several years we've been in session on Mardi Gras Day, but it looks like this Mardi Gras I'll get a chance to be home and enjoy my Zulu brothers and enjoy the revelry. So.
Very good, very good. What a wonderful thing. Of course, it's a special Tuesday Mardi Gras here, but for everybody else, it's another regular Tuesday.
Absolutely. I remind people of that all the time. I say, everywhere else in the world is just another day. In New Orleans is Mardi Gras.
Absolutely. Amen. Amen. All right.
God bless you, my friend. God bless WBOK. I'll see you next week.
All right. Lord's blessings. All right, folks. Great conversation with Congressman Troy Carter looking at the first year of President Donald Trump's second term and all that has happened, and an update about the bill that has just been presented in the House by Congressman Troy Carter and some co-sponsors, the RAISE Act, to deal with suicide awareness focused on young people, but it really can be helpful for some of everybody else. When we come back after the break, we'll be talking about some more news and information that you want to know. And in particular, we're going to dive into some of the things that are going on around the city. And before we go to break, I'm going to give you just a little bit more information. The person that will be coming on the Good Morning Show in a bit is a well-known attorney for a number of years, and that person has been a TEDx speaker, a military officer and lawyer, and is a member of a number of for-profit and nonprofit organizations, some of which I am sure that you know. So stay tuned for our special guest that's coming in this next hour. It's 8:02 a.m. I am Will Sutton. The talk line is 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Former NFL reporter Michelle Tafoya has filed to run for the Minnesota Senate as a Republican, accusing Governor Tim Walz of embarrassing the state.
I see massive government fraud exploding on Tim Walz's watch, ripping off taxpayers and embarrassing our state.
Tafoya, a former NBC Sunday Night Football sideline reporter, has repeatedly criticized two Democratic Senate candidates online. Former NBA star Derrick Rose has launched a new venture, Rose's Flower Shop, a family-run business inspired by his retirement gesture of sending roses to loved ones. The online shop offers weekly drops of fresh bouquets and will host events in Chicago. And Morris Brown College has reversed course and reinstated President Kevin E. James just days after firing him without explanation. The board faced backlash over his abrupt removal ahead of a key accreditation review. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It's 8:04 a.m. If you had to be there at 8, you're late. And if you got to be there at 8:15 or 8:30, you're doing okay as long as you're already up and gotten yourself together, pulling everything together as you plan to go out and about and get on with your day. In New Orleans, there are a number of things that are happening these days. And one of those things is yesterday there was a groundbreaking on the Navy base redevelopment project. So a number of you all who have been around for a while, you remember when that Navy base was quite active. Well, it's been inactive for many years. It's become a blight in that area, and it has also become a place where a number of homeless people started to live with no water and electricity and all. Such a huge complex. It was not the easiest thing to just go in and ask everybody to leave because there were so many places that they could be. Well, there's a $300 million transformation of the Bywater Navy site that is aiming to make that complex include affordable housing, a technology hub, and a public space. And so there was a groundbreaking yesterday, and one part of the project is called NSA East Apartments. So there were homeless people living in and around those buildings. But under this project, for which there was a groundbreaking yesterday, there would be 294 affordable apartments. There would be retail space and a startup incubator. And it's just the start. City officials and others say just the start. That's just the start of what they plan to see happen. Of course, folks who live in the area have been disgusted that this time hasn't come sooner. They've just been fed up with watching it deteriorate. So much strong property, good property to be used for a number of things. And so excited were people yesterday that for a groundbreaking, which, frankly, oftentimes groundbreakings involve the folks holding the shovels and standing in front for the pictures and the photo ops and a few other people. And it's a big deal, at the time for a number of people. But for the groundbreaking, it might be not that big of a deal. Well, at this groundbreaking, there were about 200 people came out. So that's saying something for a groundbreaking to attract that number of people. And that included state officials like Louisiana Economic Development Secretary Susan Bourgeois, and who has been working on this. Louisiana Economic Development has been working on this for a decade with the city to create a public-private collaboration and partnership and pulling in private capital along with federal, state, and local resources to see that this comes to be. if you get a chance to look at some of the pictures and video, and look at the rendering of what's planned there, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a nice place to live, nice place to work, nice place to visit, and so I'm looking forward to seeing this $166 million first phase come along the way, and we can see something significant happening along the lines of what's been described. And the New Lab co-founder, David Belt, on yesterday, talked about this being a model for other neighborhoods in Louisiana and New Orleans, but also for other cities elsewhere. So that is aiming high, and glad to hear it. We can get caught up in what's happening and some of the negative that's going on in our city sometimes, and not be visionary and look at what is possible. So that's 500 square feet in the 3 primary buildings, and each floor covers about 2 acres. Just imagine that, 2 acres of building on each floor. That's how expansive this building, set of buildings is, and what an area for some overdue development. We're going to be taking a break and come back. We're going to have more news and information for you. And again, we have a special guest coming in. So let me give you some other tidbits. So this person has worked for some very important law firms out in the West Coast, and also has worked with government as an assistant U.S. attorney and the Department of Defense, and even in the White House Office of Legal Counsel. So perhaps that gives you a little bit more information. And let's see who can come up with who this might be. You are listening to WBOK. The talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning and happy Thursday. I'm Morgan Lentis with WDSU News, and here's a look at today's headlines. New Orleans police are looking for leads after a shooting that injured a man. This happened on Chateau Court in New Orleans East around 1 a.m. We're told the victim was taken to a local hospital. There is no word on his condition or any possible suspect information at this time. Then a New Orleans teacher is facing child pornography charges, and get this, he was booked on new charges while still in custody. The Attorney General's office says Benoit Cransac was rearrested on 3 new counts of child sexual abuse material. The former French teacher and coach at Isidore Newman School was originally arrested 2 weeks ago and taken into custody at the school. We're told those allegations do not involve current or former Newman students. And happening today, a hearing will take place between the Archdiocese of New Orleans and sex abuse survivors. This comes after a $230 million settlement was agreed to, impacting hundreds of abuse survivors and ending the years-long Archdiocese bankruptcy case. In addition to today's hearing, Archbishop Gregory Amen announced group meetings will be held for anyone who may have experienced sexual abuse in the church. Those meetings will begin in February. And that's a look at today's headlines.
My name is Armand Gillespie.
And this is Philip Thomas.
And we are the Bald Online Podcast, where we cover all the major sports topics. But today, we come to you all to talk about a more serious topic.
Suicide prevention. A little less than a week ago, a young, talented football player named Marshawn Nealon took his life after scoring his first NFL touchdown.
We stress the importance of life and how precious every person is. We on Bald Online Podcast hope if you're ever going through anything to please reach out to a loved one.
And if you think you have no one to turn to, please call 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Remember, you are loved and cherished in every possible way.
Peace and always love from us. And remember, ball don't lie. Peace.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. We really appreciate those of you who are listening on the AM radio at 12:30, and we appreciate those of you who are listening online via internet, YouTube, or live stream, or otherwise, wherever you are, and we appreciate those of you who are listeners and watchers on Facebook Live. Told you a little bit about our special guest who's coming up. I'm going to give you a couple more things, and this will probably narrow the idea of who this person is. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you she lives on the West Coast. She has worked with Preston, Gates, and Ellis, major law firm. She has been an assistant U.S. attorney. She's worked in the White House, including on the Iran-Contra Legal Task Force. She has been vice president at Dell Corporation. And another big job, General Counsel, Starbucks Corporation. Yes, the international big dog of coffee, Starbucks. And she's going to be here. But she put all that behind, and she's doing something different and has been for some time. And we're going to talk to her about that. She'll be here in just a bit. Meanwhile, there are a number of other things that are going on that I want to make sure that you are aware of, because there are a lot of things happening. Want to remind you all about the weather impact in other parts of Louisiana and elsewhere across the South, because there's potential for hard freezes, sleet, potential ice in the coming days into the weekend. And if you've got plans to travel, whether by car, bus, train, or otherwise, understand that it's bad enough that Amtrak has already canceled some rides on that Mardi Gras service line over in Mobile because of weather. So Amtrak canceling rides for safety purposes should give you some idea of how bad this could be. And so make sure that you check on your flights in particular, because flights will start to get canceled and you'll have to find another day, another way, or another time to get certain places. And so I want to make sure that you're aware of that as well. The state of Louisiana is always looking at our streets, roads, highways, and bridges. And the state has identified 62 bridges that are in a year, the next year, that should be fixed or replaced. So that's a long list of bridges. And of course, if you drive in and around New Orleans and Washington Parish and Plaquemines, and if you drive around Baton Rouge and some other parts of the state, you know how important it is to have bridges that we can count on. So there are a number of those bridges. We're going to be talking about that in the coming days, but we're talking about 4,000 miles of rural and local roads and 2,800 bridges across the state that are not even big enough to qualify for federal funding for repairs. Hear me again. These are existing bridges and roads, rural and otherwise, 4,000 miles of that, and 2,800 of our bridges don't qualify for federal funding for repairs. So what does that mean? Continue not to fix them and have them be a risk factor for those who are using the bridges, and or the state identifying specific bridges and saying we'll work on these. So want to put that out there, get you to thinking about that. We'll talk about that in the coming days because that's not many of the bridges. This is 62 that need repair or replace that the state says that they are going to look at and take action on by the end of 2026. So might not be sexy, but I know a lot of you all want to be safe and know that you can count on these bridges to get you from one place to another. Something else that happened in the news that I want to alert you to, caught my eye, is a former West Wego police officer has been charged with money laundering and malfeasance. So my colleague, Michelle Hunter at the Times-Picayune-Nola.com has reported about the Jefferson Parish District Attorney's Office filing charges against Leroy Victoriano Jr., 61, for illegally pocketing $100,000 in a vehicle inspection scheme. And this is according to Jefferson Parish court records that my colleague Michelle Hunter went through. He was arrested in 2024, and then there were various affidavits and other things coming along the way in that process. But they have arrested him. He became a former officer, so he's no longer with the West Wego Police Department, which has about 6-7 people, officers there. But he would get a hold, according to police, it's still under investigation, he would get a hold of about 5,000 blank inspection affidavits from state police headquarters, and then use them to, while picking up other supplies, including DWI blood collection kits from the Baton Rouge office. And then he would sell the completed inspection affidavits for $25, which is cheaper than the $40 authorized by West Wego Police. So, of course, some people probably thinking he's a police officer, that this is A-OK. It is not okay. And apparently he profited at $25 a piece, earning about $100,000. That's quite a stash that he put away from selling these illegally provided inspection stickers. So something else for you to be aware of, something happening in our neighborhood. We're going to go to break momentarily, and when we come back, I'm going to prepare to welcome our special guest. I told you a number of things. I want to tell you one more thing that might give you a little bit more information, and that is this special guest is my special friend from childhood. Childhood. Our parents knew and know each other, and that's how we connected before we were the professionals that we are with all the tremendous career. And this sister, I'm continuing to give you hints, this sister is a musician a songwriter, performer, entertainer, and she's in town this week for a music festival. So why not be in New Orleans, and why not get her on air at WBOK, 12:30 a.m. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422 is our talk line. Give us a ring if you think you know the answer, or just call in because you want to talk with our special guest who will be coming on. You're listening to WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support and style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funniest story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Hi, I'm Imani Godan, founder of GoDance. GoDance is a nonprofit interdisciplinary dance organization rooted in New Orleans, providing access to dance education and sustainable, wellness-centered art practices. Right now, you can be a part of this work by participating in our Key to Your Heart house raffle. Our programs are open, inclusive, and community-centered, supporting artists, students, and creatives at every stage. Your involvement helps expand access, education, and opportunity for artists of all ages. To learn more and get involved, visit GoDance, GAUDANSE.org.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. As I told you before, I am blessed that the Lord woke me up and gave me another day, planted my feet on the floor, and got me safely to this Black Talk radio station. Happy to be with you, our WBOK family of listeners. We appreciate you listening on AM radio. For those of you who are still on AM, 12:30 a.m., appreciate you. And, of course, we're on the internet. We're on YouTube and live stream, and we're certainly on Facebook, which is why we love to have our listeners. But y'all some special people who listen and watch us on Facebook Live. Hey, y'all. So y'all who can see already see who I've been talking about, who I've been promoting since earlier in the show, but I haven't said a name yet. But Jared, if you're ready to go, after hearing all the things, not all of the things, some of the things I've told you about her life and career, I didn't tell you this part. But this is New Orleans, and y'all know we love some food, music, and entertainment. So, Jared, if you're ready, play this song.
It's 6 a.m. again. I get up for a run through humid environs. Street life's barely begun. No one's hanging out on corners or boozing on their porch except Uncle John with his moonshine and patent pen and torch. I passed McKinley High School in Piney Branch Hill, heading towards the People's Park, powered by adrenaline. A runner scuttles by me, now and then a bike or two, as I cross Devil's Foot Bridge. Beneath me smells of dew. Yes, I was born here, but that don't make it home. 1202 ain't local on my cell phone. It's not my home. I'm just a stranger passing through. It's not my home. Though I love how you do you, maybe someday I'll return, pay you back for all I learned. It's Ebony revisited, but Lord, it's not my home. My mama and her kinfolk came by colored only bus. My daddy got here later, invited by campus.
All right. So, welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Those of you who have been listening, and if you just tuned in, no, we didn't change the format for the Good Morning Show. But, you know, we like to mix things up. And so this young sister, that's what I'm going to say. I am older than you.
Yes, you are, Will.
Is in town for a folk music festival. Is that right?
I am indeed.
Okay, and so you just heard from Paula Boggs and the Paula Boggs Band. So welcome to New Orleans and welcome to WBOK.
It is so great to be here with you and your listeners.
Well, it's been a while since you've been in New Orleans, right?
Yeah, last time I was here was 2008, so it's been a minute.
Yeah. We were still coming through some things post-Katrina at that point.
Absolutely.
But still our special city in place. But a lot of things have happened since then. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your response to seeing the New Orleans that we have. We got more work to do, but we are a special place. And part of what makes us special is music. And you've had a heck of a career, sister. and music has been this thing kind of you loved, but wasn't like a real thing that you did all the time. And so I gave some tidbits about your career, and we could talk the whole rest of the show about that. But I want to get to the music, but just give some background in your words, separate from the little tidbits that I gave as I teased people about your visit today.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. So I'm in a third chapter of life, but let me give a little background. You and I know each other because our parents were graduate students at Howard University back in the day.
Yeah.
And, so that's where the story begins with
right.
me, and that's why the song is Ebony Revisited, because it's all about going back to DC, which is where I was born, but not feeling it as home.
Right.
And that conversation most of us have. What is home, right? Is it where we were born? Is it the people in our lives that create home for us? Is it where we are right now? So, it all began in Washington, D.C. My dad received the first PhD in zoology from Howard University.
Hold on. Let's just pause. Yes, we're here because of you, but got to give Dad that shout out. What was that again?
First PhD in zoology at Howard University.
All righty.
Yeah, and so because of him, we moved to Virginia. He was at Virginia State, another HBCU. We were minorities within minorities within minorities. And by that, I mean we were living on campus. So we were, a highly educated Black family like everybody else on campus, right? So that was my normal, to be Black was to be highly educated because everybody I knew who was Black was highly educated.
Yeah.
We were Catholic, which was another minority within the South in Virginia. And we were Black Catholics, which was a minority within the minority. And so, that was my deal until I was 13. My folks split up. It got real interesting then. My mom took herself and 4 children, me being the oldest, out of the segregated South to Europe, where she became a teacher in the Department of Defense school system. And so here we were. We had never been to Europe before. We didn't speak German. We were in this whole new environment. And I tell people all the time what my mom did for me, for herself, for the rest of her kids, forever shapes who I became because, I didn't know anything about the military, but because of that experience, I joined the military. I got to know Europe not as a tourist, but as someone who lived there during her formative years. And so I'm very grateful to my mom. She's still with us, still kicking, and it's a blessing. But for me, I went to 3 schools in Europe in 2 countries.
Yeah.
I was in Germany, then I went to Italy for a year, and then we moved back. And it was all because my mom was continuing to be promoted in the Department of Defense school system, ultimately becoming a principal, elementary school principal. And she was in Europe for almost a quarter century, but I was there for 5 years, 8th grade through 12, came back to the U.S., went to Johns Hopkins for college, was ROTC, Army, went to airborne school while a cadet. So yes, I jumped out of perfectly well-functioning planes, and then was commissioned, went to law school at Berkeley, and then did my 4 years of military service, my commitment in D.C. And that brought me back home to D.C., started in the Pentagon, did a number of jobs in the Pentagon, and then for the last 18 months of my military career, check this out, I was in Reagan's White House working on the Iran-Contra investigation as an Army captain. And trust me, I was the only black woman in Reagan's White House other than the help. Okay,
Right.
So it was me and the help.
All right. Well, and then you moved into corporate law.
I sure did, but before that,
you had a number of other things going on. And
was a federal prosecutor 5 years.
Yeah.
Then went in house, first at Dell Computer Corporation, and then for 10 years I was Starbucks top lawyer.
That's a heck of a thing.
That was my journey before
that's like
music.
An international brand, and you're the top legal mind for this international brand, which at that time was more than a small operation of 3 or 4 or 5, and has boomed into so much more.
It really has.
I don't know. You can go many places and stay Starbucks, and people don't know what you're talking about.
No, I've never had that experience where, in fact, I got to a point where I would be kind of incognito. I would not tell people.
Right.
I work for Starbucks because everybody has an opinion.
Yes.
A Starbucks, is either a good one or a bad one or something, but no one's neutral about Starbucks, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Did you love it?
I loved it. I loved the product. I loved the culture because back then it really was a culture that was centered on making the customer smile and taking care of employees, right?
Yeah.
And some of that people have different opinions on what has happened, in the past 10 years since I've been gone, but when I was there, it was the employee, particularly a store partner, was celebrated, and I wanted to be part of something like that.
Yeah, I had a friend in North Carolina when my wife Cheryl and I were living there, and one of our friends was moving along in Starbucks world, and went beyond a store to 2 and 3 and regional manager and
Very
all
cool.
this stuff, and it was like, well, what do you do? I go to Starbucks every day, but just different ones all over the place. And then I'm on my computer doing what other people do, except I'm in a Starbucks and working on Starbucks.
Absolutely.
He said, and one day it was like, well, to kind of get him to describe what it's like and, the culture and all. And he says, Will, people know us for coffee, but that's not really what we sell.
Mm-hmm.
We sell culture, experience, comfort.
That's right.
And that's our brand.
Exactly.
And coffee is like a part of what you get when you
That's
go
right.
there. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And I'm sure he was one of a number of employees who was able to say that off the tip of his tongue.
Yes.
To describe what that's like. But then you had been a musician and you got into music, and how'd you do that transition?
Yeah. So,
And we got a caller. I see somebody special on the line, so I can't wait. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so, from age 10, I started playing guitar, and it wasn't long after learning how to play guitar, I started writing music. So I started writing music at 10. And, there are people from elementary school, junior high, high school, who remember that me. They remember the runner because I was a runner then, but they also remember me dragging around this guitar, right?
Yeah.
And so that was part of who I was as a child and growing up. But like a lot of people who have passions as kids, as I got older, my devotion to the guitar and songwriting became less and less. And so much so that by the time I reached 30, it was almost in that category of something I used to do.
Right.
And
right.
It wasn't long after that it was that. And I really thought, and I think a lot of people go through the same thing. Oh yeah, I used to do fill in the blank,
Right.
You know, as a kid, but now I'm
Yep.
doing this. You know,
Right.
I've got a family, I've got a job, I've got this career, whatever that narrative is for you. And I thought that was me. But, you know, life is rarely a straight line, Will, and it wasn't for me. And I got brought back to music 15 years later.
Yeah.
And once I was back in it, I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't Niagara Falls all of a sudden, because I had a full-time job. I mean, I was Starbucks, you know, I was at Starbucks when all that was happening, but it sparked me. And once that spark was lit, it just kept growing.
Yeah.
So much so that I realized, you know, after 10 years at Starbucks, I had done everything I could. At Starbucks, I felt fulfilled. I felt completed. And I felt the same way about law, too, in general, you know. So, you know, and that's what I told the Starbucks folks. I'm not leaving you guys. I'm leaving a chapter. I'm leaving law. This is what I'm called to do, and I'm ready to do it. So I did. Now, I had a little, there was a side thing I did before I jumped full into being a full-time musician, and that was campaigning for Obama in 2012. Yes. And, you know, I had wanted since my early 20s, maybe even my teens, to someday work on a presidential campaign. And I fell in love with Obama when I learned who he was.
Right.
And in 2004, I just went all in, gave my heart and soul to his reelection in 2012, and then he won. And so I was done, you know, one and done. And I was ready to start. Paula Boggs Band was already a thing. We had our first gig in January of 2008. But by the end of 2012, I was ready. I was ready for this new thing. And here we are.
All right. We're in conversation with my friend, Paula Boggs of the Paula Boggs Band. In New Orleans for a few days for music festival, and I hope that she'll have some time to get out and see our culture and our music folks. And on the line, we've got a special caller. Good morning, Papa Baptiste. How are you?
Good morning to everybody. As my dad would say, ¿Cómo se va?
Absolutely.
Good morning.
You're on with Will Sutton and Paula Boggs.
Paula, it's a pleasure to speak to you. I only have a brief moment because I have an appointment this morning. I'm in the side of an elevator right now going up to my appointment. But I wanted to call and welcome you back to New Orleans again.
Thank you.
Looking forward to perhaps, hooking up and meeting. I know you know my little nephew, John Baptiste.
Yes, I do. And I know about you too, Papa Baptiste.
And my son Russell and my sons Ryan and Jamal, and we, by the grace of God, we're moving on, and we're just trying to take care of our musical journey.
Well, it's an honor for me that you called in, and I hope we can manifest that. I hope we get to meet in real life. That would be such a joy for me.
All right. Well, I'm gonna see what I can do to make that happen. I know you both have busy schedules, but Paula's here for a few days, and I'm gonna see that you all have the opportunity to connect.
Yeah, my son Jamal is headed out, Paula, to the NAMM concert in L.A.
Oh yeah, I know. We've played there a couple times.
And my son Damon, he's in Morocco.
Oh my gosh.
So, we might be bringing you to Morocco because we're putting up festivals. We're setting up stuff.
We would love to do that. I just found out, Papa Baptiste, that we are, I think, 10% North African. So, which is wild, right? But it would be coming back home in a way.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for calling in, Papa Baptiste, and I'll be in touch with you today to see if that we can make that connection happen.
All right. God bless you guys. And
God bless you.
I wish I had more time, but I got to take care of business.
Hey,
absolutely.
No problem. Lord's
Be
blessing.
blessed, Paula. We look forward to talking to you.
Okay,
All right,
thank
so,
you.
All right. Well, that's cool.
That's so cool.
Papa Batiste wants to meet you.
I mean, I'm almost speechless. Not quite, but I'm almost speechless.
Yeah. So, great guy, and from an incredible family of musicians and songwriters and
Generations.
entertainers, and I mean, it's just remarkable. Any time I talk to him, you mention the name, and it's like, oh yeah. And it's like, and there was around here we had the Gladiators, Batiste.
There you go.
We had the Funky Meters, Batiste. I mean, it just like goes on and on and on.
And
so
on.
individual names is kind of like those bands that they're amazing as a band.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but this one has his own band, and this one, she has her own band. It's just, that's the Batiste family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible, remarkable. All right, well, we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to have some more conversation with Paula Boggs from the Seattle, Washington area, and in town in New Orleans for a music festival downtown for a few days. We're going to see what we can do to get her out and about. So if there's anything in particular that you think, if you can, you really ought to go and see what? You really ought to go and see who. Give us a list. Nothing wrong with the list if you got time, but I know some of you all are dashing off to work. It's 8:49 a.m. Watch out for the kiddos. 11 more minutes to our 12 miles per hour speed zone limits until 9. Just because we go into break doesn't mean you can start speeding. And just because you're driving around and you think you're not near school, slow down, because the schools are all over, and we got to make sure that those babies and kiddos make it to where they want to be. And of course, those older kiddos who think they're grown, but they got hair on their chin and hair under their arms and their faces just planted in the phone. Please watch out for them, because they still need to grow up, get some more knowledge, education, and get on with their lives today. It's 8:50 a.m. You're talking with Paula Boggs of the Paula Boggs Band right here on WBOK. The talk line is 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Brought to you by FidelityWealthManagement.com. The Magnificent Seven, led by NVIDIA, have been dominating conversations on Wall Street for a while now. But black-owned and led Ariel Investments is finding value flying under the radar with smaller companies. Here's Ariel Investments founder, chairman, and CEO, John Rogers.
We're still finding ideas in the small value space. They really have been ignored. They're kind of the ugly ducklings when you compare it to NVIDIA and Apple and all these giant, exciting growth stories. The little mundane businesses that we've invested in for 42 years just seem particularly orphaned these days. So we're seeing great ideas and excited to be doing the research, and think there's real opportunity for small value.
Ariel Investments, John Rogers speaking to Bloomberg there. The firm's flagship Ariel Fund focuses entirely on small and mid-cap stocks. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251.
Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818.
That's 800-215-6818.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
Attention parents, the Willow School, an A-rated National Blue Ribbon School in partnership with Tulane University, is now accepting applications for grades K through 12. Willow offers a nationally renowned arts integrated curriculum, top science and engineering program, and competitive athletic program. The Willow School is the highest performing K through 12 school in the state. The Willow School, where minds soar and creativity flourishes. Learn more about the application process at willowschoolnola.org today.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show right here at WBOK 1230 AM. I am Will Sutton, still to this day, and I've got Jared on the other side of the glass, so y'all who are doing the chat thing, give him a shout out, give him a good morning, tell him what a good job he's doing, ask him a question, and maybe he might answer. But, you know, I like to say something my daddy said a long time ago when he was on the radio. You can call with a question, and I'll do my best to give you an answer. But if I don't, I'll give you a response. So you'll get something in response to your question. We're in conversation with Paula Boggs of the Paula Boggs Band in town for a music festival. And I'd love for you to tell our family of WBOK listeners a little bit more about Paula Boggs Band, and do you have anything new? Tell us a little bit more about the Paula Boggs Band.
I will happily tell your listeners about Paula Boggs Band. So we've been a thing since 2008. We're about to release our 5th studio album. It's called Sumatra, after the island of Indonesia, and also the coffee. We are so excited about it. It releases on March 27th. It's got 10 tracks. The last track is our Soulgrass rendition of the great Negro spiritual and civil rights song, Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Round. And
nice.
it features Blind Boys of Alabama.
Woo.
And Valerie June.
What?
Yeah. So that's how we ended. That was the message we wanted to end this album at this time with. And so look out for it. Our first single from it is a song called Airline Boogie, and it is releasing this month, January 30th. So look out for it, and you can follow us at paulaboggsband.net, and I hope you do.
All right, very good, very good. All right, well, thank you so much, Paula, for coming in to WBOK and the Good Morning Show today. So happy to see you. Been a long, long time.
It has.
But thank Lord for Facebook so we can stay in touch and texting,
Totally.
periodically. And so cool to see you yesterday and to share your story and your journey and your music with our WBOK family of listeners. What a show today, folks. We had Congressman Carter looking back at the first year of the second Donald Trump presidency. Congressman had a lot to say. And, of course, he talked about helping young folks in particular with preventing suicide and a bill that he's introduced with some co-sponsors in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. House of Representatives. And we, of course, had a special guest, Paula Boggs of the Paula Boggs Band. She's in town. If you have a place that you think she should go, music, food, or otherwise, a bunch of you have my number, or you can email me. And, of course, you can find me online at NOLA.com and look for my columns. Give me some information. I can pass it on to Paula. And who knows, maybe she'll come to your place. Maybe she'll come and see you perform while she's here. All right, thank you so much for listening to the Good Morning Show. We're going to get out of here for The Front Porch with Graylin and Kemba. They'll be coming up in just a couple of minutes. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all